Okay, we're talking tonight about women's health and hormones. There's tons of information. It is definitely a woman's webinar. So on my email, I kind of said if you wanted to sit this one out, you can if you're a man, but you're welcome to stay. We've got a lot to share. And we're going to treat it like a buffet. You can take what sounds like it's helpful, it's good. And if it doesn't apply to you, then just go ahead and leave it. And you can hang on to it if you want to help somebody else in the future. And hormones are just a huge topic. So we're not going to be able to talk about everything that has to do with hormones. We're just going to go over some of the basics, and I'm going to share with you some of the experiences that I've had trying to figure out my own hormones. They are wonderful. They are like the chemical messengers that regulate everything in our body. They constantly keep track of it all. They affect all kinds of functions like triggering things, regulating things, influencing things from temperature to blood sugar to heart rate, heartbeat, fertility, your mood, and even your sleep. And I've been thinking a lot about sleep lately because of doing that sleep one last week, because I've just had a handful of different friends approach me. It's really fun to watch people try Serenity and how much it helps. But sometimes I want to say, oh, there's just such a big amount of different things that influence, your sleep, and your hormones is one of them. And so it's kind of hard because as someone who struggled with sleep, especially, there are all these little pieces that go into it. And that's with our whole health altogether. And so this is just another really big piece of it. So we're going to touch on a few things. We're going to talk about estrogen, phytoestrogen, xenoestrogens, cortisol, and then liver health as well. So starting with women's health on a scale of 1 to 10, if you have your sheet and you can write this down, not put it on a piece of paper. How is your monthly cycle? 1 being no unwanted symptoms, and 10 being like your symptoms are out of control. How are your symptoms if you're before or post menopause? And then secondly, there are areas of hormone balance that are difficult. Which ones are difficult for you? There's hypothyroid, adrenal fatigue, difficulty losing weight, mood swings, trouble sleeping, infertility, poor memory, diabetes, or other. And for some of the others, there's also, let's see over here, anxiety, muscle tone, water retention, hot flashes, low libido, hair loss, and the list goes on. So there's quite a long lot of things that can affect it. So if you would like to write a couple things down for you that maybe it's being affected by, you can write that down, and then you can highlight or take notes on whatever it is as we go through them. So next, the women's reproductive system includes, you've got this lovely diagram over here, your ovaries, your fallopian tubes, your uterus, your cervix, external genitalia, breasts that work closely with other systems, especially the endocrine system. And then also your liver. Your liver is also part of this because it kind of filters and regulates everything. And we'll talk about that specifically. So your ovaries are secreting estrogen and progesterone, which are crucial for fertility and play a key role in women's emotional health and physical health. And then nutrition and hydration, especially direct the production of our hormones. So, and then once again, I feel like the whole platform that doTERRA stands on is their wellness pyramid. And the biggest one is your nutrition and your foundation. And so no matter how much I have proven myself on multiple occasions repeatedly that exercise cannot outrun your diet, no matter how much you do it, and that what you put in your body super matters. And so just having that base of healthy nutrition is probably the biggest thing. And so with that, we'll start with our base, which is lifelong vitality, which I know maybe you get tired of because we talk about it every single time. But even if you're eating a really great diet, there's all kinds of minerals that we're just deficient in, and everybody's body processes minerals differently. So even though you might be eating the same thing as somebody else in your household, you might still be missing some of these key nutrients. And then also just the fact that our food gets very processed. And so we just all have little gaps and stuff. And the nice thing is that this is a great foundation. It's hard to work on all the specifics that are other problems like hormones, like sleep, like, pain or inflammation, unless you have a really good foundation. So this is your baseline, is your lifelong vitality, foundation, nutrition for optimal hormone balance and energy levels. I have had several women tell me that this was what made a difference with their mood and their cycle the most, which isn't even like targeted. It's just because we have so many gaps that it helps fill that in. And it's packed with nature's most powerful antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, and energy cofactors. And so if you just look at them individually, we got the purple alpha CRS. That is just a ton of your high impact antioxidants. And it's very anti-inflammatory. It's like the gas for your cells to have energy. It helps your liver work more efficiently. And then the Z omegas are your essential fatty acids. It's got the fatty acids 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And they're just those healthy fats that you have to regulate your hormones, to nourish your skin, your heart, your brain. And then they're all preserved with the essential oils, and they have axanthin in them, which is a super powerful antioxidant that's just really good for your health. And then the last one, that microplex VM, is a vitamin and mineral nutrient. It's a food base. Like I've talked to a lot of people who take their vitamins, but they're taking like a 1 a day, really hard, thick pill, and your body sometimes can't even digest it. And so it just goes right through you. And so if your body can't digest it, it's not going to be doing any good for your body. So these are in a food-based format so that your body knows what to do with them and how to use them, just like it does with food. They're very absorbable, and they'll help you feel like you've had a salad. They're equal to your 12 fruits and vegetables, but should not replace them. Just something I have to remind myself on a regular basis, because it's really hard sometimes to get those in, it's a lot of chewing. Anyway, so if you can eat real vegetables and take these, I guarantee you're going to be like way ahead of the majority of the world these days. So lifelong vitality is just one of those baselines. If you're not taking it yet, I highly encourage you to try that, because it affects everything. And so even though we have really great tools for, different pieces, if you're missing your base, it almost doesn't matter, because they're just not going to have the same success with it as if you have the base in there too. All right. So the bone nutrient is a part of our women's kit. We'll go over those individually. We've talked about this one before with supplements. This is really great for just bone integrity and strength and minerals. And this is something that I've added in because I have a lot of like the restless leg syndrome. I have it when I was pregnant, I would get it. And then it would kind of go away. But now I feel like as I'm getting older, I just get super achy legs. And as I've added this one back in, I feel like it really does help. Now it is 4 capsules a serving, which is really just a lot. So if you can take 2 in the morning and 2 at night, that's going to help the most to spread it out. But it has like, all of your magnesium, and it has your zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, biotin. And I would definitely take these in addition so that you're getting higher than the recommended dose. And it is just really great for being highly absorbable. They say once you're 25, that's when osteoporosis actually can start, if you're not doing like weight bearing activities to build up the density and strength of your bones. So as we get older, our bones get more fragile, more weak, more kind of airy. And that's where you're at risk, especially in your older years, of, falling and breaking something, because they're just not quite as thick and strong as they used to be. And so that helps your bones to just have that strength and integrity. And this is where we're going to introduce xenoestrogens, if you haven't heard of them before. So we went to a webinar with Dr. Hill, who is just awesome with all things science and oils and hormones, and he was explaining the chemistry behind your body and how this works. So one of the things that most of our world believes is that we're all estrogen dominant, and that's like this huge problem in our world. And while that might be true, it's not necessarily the estrogen that's a problem, it's these xenoestrogens. And so your estrogens have a little spot where they can bind, a receptor site where they bind in, and that's where your body can use them effectively. But in our world, we're surrounded by so many xenoestrogens that what they'll do is they'll sneak in and they will bind there first, because they're usually bigger, more controlling. They're kind of the bully, and they'll take that spot so that your estrogen won't be productive, won't be attached in the right place, and doesn't really do anything. And so those xenoestrogens, they send unintended signals. They're just the chemicals that are in our everyday life. And the sad thing is that they're in everything. And so it might not actually be that your estrogen is out of balance. It might be more that your estrogen isn't being utilized the way it's supposed to be. It's floating around and it can't bind into a place where it will help, because the xenoestrogens are like pushing it out of the way. And so the answer in how to do that is to clear out those xenoestrogens, which is takes some work in our world. Xenoestrogens are found kind of all around us. Canned food, farm fish, tap water, plastics. These are just some of them. factory farmed animals, soy in food, household cleaners, pollutions, fragrances, pesticides, medications, beauty products, and personal care products. They're pretty much in everything around you that doesn't come from nature. You know, anything that sneaks in that's outside is going to create those. I've been with doTERRA since they were about a year old. I joined then, and they had just released the Lifelong Vitality Pack, and they had a handful of oils, and then they slowly started adding to them, but they didn't have any of this other stuff. And so the cool thing that I really enjoyed about this is we have been like asking for things. And so all of these things are things that they made because as doTERRA users, we were like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we had a laundry detergent or hair care and so we've begged and they've kind of added these slowly to their line. And so the great thing is wherever you can clear these things out in your house and replace them with things that are non-toxic, don't have xenoestrogens, which these don't, they're, you know, the GMO free, genetically modified free, and they just come from nature in the best form that doTERRA has been able to come up with to keep them stable so they're not like moldy on your shelf like food. And so the more you can clean out, you know, the better you can do. Now, the nice thing about this is I'm going to be honest, you're going to probably find things where you just maybe don't like them as much. Like toothpaste, when I first tried it, I was like, I can't make this change. Ironically, I totally love their toothpaste now, and I would never go back because I can just taste the difference. But as you slowly trade them out, even if there's one or two that you're like, I just can't give up this, if you clean up everything else, you know, the amount of toxins that are going to be in your daily life are totally reduced very significantly. And so it still makes a huge difference because everything that you're coming in contact with on your hands and your air, it's all affecting you with giving you some more xenoestrogens. You know, and if you look around in our world, anything that is synthetically and chemically made, it's just going to put those into your environment and your body, and anything that is natural is going to kind of help feed it and pull them out and cleanse them. So kind of always have to be in this cleansing state to not have these dominating our life with the xenoestrogens and blocking the way our hormones are supposed to work. So enter phytoestrogen complex, and this is how you can clear out those xenoestrogens. So the phytoestrogen is this really wonderful, it's a natural form of estrogen. Now it sounds like it's estrogen, but it's not estrogen, just because it has the phytoestrogen name. And what it is it's, you know, it's just clearing out those xenoestrogens so the estrogen that's already in your body can attach in the right place and work the correct way. But it isn't actually estrogen. And in fact, it only has 3 ingredients. So we'll go through those in a second. It assists to balance not only a deficiency, but also an excess of harmful estrogen metabolites, and that's those xenoestrogens. It minimizes unwanted symptoms associated with the menstrual cycle, because oftentimes those symptoms come from outside toxins that just kind of mess everything up because your estrogen isn't in the right place to take care of it and to make it, you know, regular. So, and then it contains ginseng, fermented soy extract, and something else, pomegranate fruit extract. Now, when I saw the soy extract, I was like, what? You know, why would they put soy in our products? And I kind of, you know, overreacted and went and talked to Dr. Hill about it. And he addressed it, and he just said, you know, soy is something that if you are eating a ton of it, especially if it's genetically modified, it's totally going to mess up your hormones, like in a big way. And so the part of soy that's this fermented non-GMO soy is actually this really wonderful thing, but it's only a small portion. And so that's why they do it in an extract, because in order to get the right amount of that small part of the soy, you would have to eat so much soy that it would totally mess up the way your body functions. And so they extract that out, and it's fermented, not genetically modified, and that's in there. And then that says, what is that? Ginseng? Somebody help me out with that. That's part of the soy extract. Okay.
Genistein.
Genistein, thank you. I'm like, that just looks different. Genistein. So that is the extract of the soy, and that's just a part of the soy. So you're not getting, you know, the negative parts of the soy as well. And then it has flaxseed and pomegranate fruit. And that pomegranate fruit, you know, flaxseed's going to help things function correctly. Pomegranate fruit is just packed with antioxidants. So this promotes healthy breast tissue, balances your hormones. And actually, since men are equally affected by the xenoestrogens that are in the world, even though they're not going to be estrogen dominant, this won't affect their progesterone. It can help clear out those things that could still be blocking some of their, you know, hormonal connections by clearing them out with that the phytoestrogen, clearing out those xenoestrogens. So I don't know a lot of men personally who have tried this. If you do know a man who's tried it, maybe let me know, because that would be a great experience to hear. But I do remember them talking about the fact that it wasn't just a problem that women have, that it was kind of a problem everywhere because they're so dominant and prevalent in our society, all those xenoestrogens from the synthetics and kind of the toxins just slipping out in our air and stuff. So that's phytoestrogen. Another one that's really great is rose. It's known as the queen of oils. We've talked about it a little bit already. This one is amazing for emotional balance. You can apply it over your heart. It will boost libido, promote openness and confidence. Apply to your lower abdomen. It can help with relief from your menstrual cycle and discomfort, and it can promote regular ovulation. With the reports right now of women's cycles being kind of messed up, I think rose is a good one with the Clary Calm, which we'll talk about, to kind of help get things back into like a cycle. And I really just think, because a lot of the things that are being taken right now are full of lots of synthetic ingredients, and that does affect kind of everybody everywhere, whether you're getting it or not. And so this is just something that can help clear some of that out, whether it's in your air or in your body, and help you to just clean it out so you don't have that problem anymore. Rose is one of the most powerful oils and the highest vibration. So sometimes it's a little bit intense also. I think that I've mentioned before that there was a time that the smell was just kind of overwhelming for me and I didn't like it. And I found that I had a lot of emotional stuff to deal with. And once I dealt with those, then the smell totally changed for me, which I thought was interesting, but I totally love it now. It smells very different. And it's been very helpful for just emotional stuff. So over your heart, if you don't like the smell, you can always put it down on your ankles or lower abdomen. And that's very helpful. And I really do like the diluted one. The straight one is very expensive. It's a couple $100. But it's very thick, almost like a sap. And so you almost will put it in your own blend anyway. So it really does make sense to get the roller bottle because it's already pre-diluted, and then it's not way over powerful strong, because that straight bottle almost doesn't smell like rose because it's just so potent. And the roller bottle that's kind of diluted a little bit just smells very nice. So I recommend starting with the roller bottle before you splurge for the big one. Okay, and then Clary Calm. And Clary Calm is, let me tell you what's in it really quick. Clary Calm is kind of like the monthly blend that they make for women, so you can apply it on your lower abdomen. It is strong with sage in it, so it has, which some people love, very cleansing oil: sage, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, cedarwood, geranium, fennel, carrot seed oil, palmarosa, and vitex, which is just great for women all around. This one does smell strongly of sage. If you don't love the smell of it, a lot of people really love it. If you don't, then you can put it on the insides of your ankles, and you can put socks on, and then you won't smell it. And I just put something else up on by my face so I can smell that, like my hope oil or something that I really love. And you won't smell it, but it'll still give you those same benefits. So you can apply it, especially during that time of the month, for hormone balancing, heavy periods, PMS, cramping, hot flashes, and mood swings. And once again, this is the kind of thing that can help right off the get-go, but if you don't have that baseline, it might not help as much. So it's good to get that baseline in too. But I've heard miracle stories about how much it helps. So those three have kind of the same, branding, and they come in their little women's kit together. So if you buy all three of them, the bone nutrient, phytoestrogen, and Clary Calm together, then you get a little bit of a discount on the three of them. So, and then talking about the endocrine system is kind of what, where our hormones are regulated and filtered out. So the endocrine system directly is involved with growth and development, metabolism, nutrient regulation, and overall homeostasis. So just your well-being. A system of glands that produces and sends hormones to targeted organs and tissues via the circulatory system. And then essential oils can be very beneficial since they are circulated in the same way and profoundly benefit the cells they encounter in the process. So, and just going through some of these different organs, first of all, and probably most important, is going to be your liver, because everything you put into your body is filtered out by your liver. It's like your first defender out there fighting for you. So healthy liver function is the underpinning of hormone balance. So with that said, if you fill your liver full of like toxic junk all the time, it's going to get stocked up and it's going to have lots of problems. So you want to be doing things that's constantly cleansing your liver, even if it's just a gentle thing. So tons of water. You want to drink half of your body weight in water. in ounces. So if you weigh, 150 pounds, you're going to be drinking 75 ounces. If you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to be drinking 100 ounces. And you want to just be making sure you're getting enough to cleanse that. Great to put any kind of citrus oil in there because that helps with that cleansing process. Lemon, Slim and Sassy is wonderful, which did we talk about Slim and Sassy yet? We're going to talk about that too. That one's wonderful. But any one at all has limonene in it. They're really great for just cleansing and will help with your liver. And then just that amount, just getting that amount of water will make a huge difference too. And then Zendocrine is an oil and it comes in a bottle where you can rub it on your liver, or it comes in capsules. It has, they have reformulated it. So I'm not even sure if this is an old one or a new one. I'm assuming it's a new one, but it has tangerine, rosemary, geranium, juniper berry, and cilantro leaf. It might have a couple more now. But this one is awesome for just the gentle cleanse in your liver on a regular basis. You can take them multiple times in a day, or you can just take them as general support with like one every now and then. I think we're going to actually talk about these individually. So maybe I should slow down. Your adrenals are going to be on top of your kidneys, and then your thyroid's up here in the top. So we're going to talk about these individually. And I always forget that we're going to do that. So let me go ahead and move on. So you've got any kind of citrus. Slim and Sassy is awesome because it has grapefruit and lemon in it, and then your Zendocrine. And then not listed here is the other Endocrine Complex. That's just another gentle liver detox, but it also is made to target not just the liver, but your other glands around it too, like your adrenals and your pancreas. And that's when I just throw on my regimen where I take 1 or 2 of those a day, and it just good support for your liver since everything goes through there. Okay, next here we're talking about Slim and Sassy. Yeah,
Can I comment on that?
Yeah.
Sorry, so I had some blood work done about 6 months ago, and my liver enzymes were high and off, and my kidney function was super low. And I was nervous, and all they had to say to me was, you are too heavy. And so your body's working too hard to filter what you have. And it's not like I'm obese. I'm not 300 pounds. I'm just a little overweight. And they said, lose 5% of your weight. And I'm like, oh, sure. Like I haven't been trying. Oh, yeah. So I didn't lose 5% of my weight, but I did start Zendocrine. And so I just had my blood work done, and it's all in the normal. And it had been abnormal for a year. So I'm sort of excited, but still super motivated to lose weight. So it works.
The gel caps or
I did the powder one.
Powder one. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
That's really exciting. Congratulations. That's exciting. Good job. All right. So good job. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. And it's always fun. I do like labs because you can see the baseline and the difference. So that's exciting there. So that's really wonderful. So congratulations. That's helpful. All right. Thanks for sharing, Mari. I really am glad that makes a difference. That's exciting. So then talking about pancreas, every time when I teach these, I go and try to review a couple other different webinars. So I go through it again and look at it, make sure I know what I'm talking about. And I swear every time I'm like, what? Was this not in it the last time I taught it? And I forget. But Slim and Sassy I've just used as like a wake-up blend, and to read that it's good for your pancreas and to read up on why it's good for your pancreas was really helpful for me this time. And so all of these things work together and they all help. This blend is one that they had in oil. We all loved it. We were all dripping it into capsules, begged for them to make a soft gel, and they did. But it's the same whether you have the oil or the capsules. The capsules are just kind of pre-done for you, and they're stable, so you can just take them if you don't want to be dripping them in. So this has grapefruit and lemon, which are really great for releasing excess body water, excess body fat. That's what I really want them for. They do help with that. Excess water. So if you're feeling like you're retaining water, they're really great for helping with water retention and releasing things so that you don't feel like you're retaining water all the time. And then same thing with the cleansing effects of those. And then the peppermint and ginger are going to rev up your metabolism and just help with things in your gut to keep them moving. It is kind of a diuretic and moves things through your system. I gave these to a friend and she was like, are these, what did she say? It's like, are these supposed to make me run to the bathroom a bunch? And I was like, oh, they can have that effect. But they have those digestive oils to move your metabolism and to kind of get things moving. So we'll kind of do that a little bit. The cinnamon in it is there to balance your blood sugar, and it's very helpful for that. And I was just posting the other day about when I want to get off the sugar cravings, this is the best thing to get off your sugar cravings, combined with that GX Assist, which I don't have the bottle out here, but it's got the red label on it. The GX Assist has your lemon, melaleuca, oregano, which we were putting in a capsule as like a candida cleanse for yeast and stuff, which is the yeast in your body is kind of what craves the sugar and drives that sugar monster. So I feel like the Slim and Sassy with that GX Assist is really great to help curb those sugar cravings if you're trying to get off of it. It's wonderful for just waking you up, for giving you energy, and then for helping your pancreas. And then you can take a couple drops under your tongue a couple times a day, or you can take a capsule 1 to 3 times a day. I don't think there's a limit, but usually 1 to 3 is what people do. Oh, this says 3 to 5. So, and then you will feel it. Whenever I take oil, if you're one to burp things up, then I would just take a bite of something else with it. And then usually you won't have a problem, like a banana, cracker, anything, just so that it's not the pure oil by itself. Some people are fine, but if it bothers you, don't give up. Eat something with it next time and see if that helps. And then another good thing you can do for your pancreas is use coriander internally, or you can rub that over your liver and above your liver for that. And that just helps those function better. So they support your metabolism, regulate blood sugar, and release excess water. And then next is your adrenal glands. So adrenal glands are really closely related to your thyroid. If your thyroid's having trouble, lots of times your adrenal glands are having trouble too, and just need more support. And this was also really eye-opening as I was looking through this time. We'll talk about thyroid in a second, but here's the recommendations is magnolia to your adrenals twice daily. And your adrenals are found right above your kidneys. So if you reach around your back, your lower back is kind of where your kidneys are, and you just slide your hands up, and right above them is where your adrenal glands are going to be. They just sit right on top. So you can rub the magnolia on there or take the Mito 2 Max. Let me just talk about those for a minute. So the magnolia has 3 times the linalool of lavender. So if you think of how calming lavender is, magnolia is another one that's very intense for calming. And so that does help kind of calm your adrenals down, settle them down. Your adrenal glands are responsible for kind of waking you up and getting you moving. They make cortisol, and cortisol kind of gives you that energy to get going for the day, and then help with the melatonin that calms you down at night. We're so tired and we're under a ton of stress that we get bogged down. And when that happens, our body will just respond with cortisol and pump cortisol. Or like if we hit that slag, that part in the day where you're just hit the wall and you're tired, usually happens midday 3 or 4 for me. A lot of times that's because your adrenal glands are so tired. They don't want to make that cortisol. They just want a minute to have a break. And so when you feel like I got to go, so I'm going to grab, some kind of stimulant like a soda, something with sugar, something with caffeine, chocolate, coffee, whatever, that is going to kind of artificially put up your cortisol, and then your adrenals are working again to manage that, And so one of the things that I learned today, and I have to look into this more, to be honest, because I don't know a lot about it, but I thought it was very interesting, because I did go see somebody about my hormones, and they were like, oh, your progesterone's really low. Which now that I know a lot more, there's no way they could have known that, because you take a progesterone test, but you have to know where in your cycle you are. And I've had a hysterectomy, so I don't really know what my cycle is. And so there's nothing to relate it to. So I'm thinking they thought I was low on progesterone, put me on artificial progesterone. And I took those pills. Now this was probably like 5 or so years ago. Like they just put me to bed. I was so tired. I felt like I slept all night, and I couldn't get up in the morning, and I'm not one to sleep a lot, and I don't feel like I slept great. And so they halved the dose, and I took half the dose, and I still felt like a walking zombie. I've never been so like living in a haze in my whole life. And so I got off of that. And then today, and then I've done other tests for hormones, but it's really hard to test for hormones. I did like this whole huge $2,000 blood panel that I didn't pay that much for, because I went through doTERRA's thing and they had a whatever. So, but it was like $300, and it told me all the functions of everything. And then he was like, well, there's a hormone like urinating test if you want. And I'm thinking, I thought we were doing my hormones. Like, what are we doing? And the reality is they have a ton of tests that give them like little pictures, but hormones are such a out there thing that they don't really have tests that were like, this is what's wrong with your hormones, because it's this cycle of your whole body working together. And so you can go spend money on labs, but I'll tell you from the other side, lots of times it doesn't help. It helps more to work on clearing out the junk in your life, whether it's products you're using, stuff in your air, or the food you're eating, which the struggle is real there. We all know that. And putting in more really good stuff like better supplements, focusing on putting in nutrients through vegetables and things that you're eating and clearing out all the other stuff. That's the best way to go about it. And then just using those tools to maximize it. So one of the things that I was listening to today talked about how progesterone is a precursor to cortisol. And so lots of times when you're doing a lot of caffeine, sugar, and stimulants, what will happen is your body will take the progesterone that you need to be like, you know, a normal calm person. The progesterone is kind of the anti-inflammatory calming part of your body. It will take that and it will turn it into cortisol. It will make more cortisol with it, like stealing from another system. We talked about this with digestive enzymes, how your body will steal from another system. Well, cortisol is what makes you move and function. And so if your body's feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I'm going to die, then it's going to steal that progesterone because it feels much more important in functioning than, you know, all the other things that it's good for. And so if you can cut out some of those stimulants, then that will help your adrenals rest a little bit more and not, you know, be falsely popped up. So this is where Mito 2 Max comes in. The Mito 2 Max, let me read you the ingredients in there, just have a ton of really great herbs and products that help feed your adrenal glands so that they can handle that and so that they keep your energy up without artificially pumping and stealing from your progesterone and pumping more cortisol. And they actually can give your adrenals a break. So another thing is I was reading a big long post on sleeping because I was looking for more sleeping solutions a few months ago. And someone had said, I take Mito 2 Max before I go to bed. And I thought, what? But that's like an energy blend. But the reality is it's feeding your adrenal glands so they work more efficiently. And so at night, while your adrenal glands are giving you melatonin and turning off and resting, it feeds them so that they're not pumped with cortisol at night and so that they can rest. And it can also help with sleep, ironically, even though it's an energy and stamina complex. So if you've tried a lot of things with sleep and you're down to your last straw, you can throw this in and see if this helps too. We all work a little differently. So this has in it all the great things like the coenzyme Q10, alpha lipic acid, acetyl L-carnitine, quercetin, ginseng, ashwagandha, and just a handful of really awesome supplements that are good for feeding your adrenal glands. Another thing with this that I've heard in different chat groups is the recommended dose is 2 capsules. I had a handful of people saying that they needed to take 5, 6, 7, 8 of them a day, and they would stagger them through the day. And so they kind of said, experiment with it. Don't stop at 2 if you feel like it's not helping, because sometimes our adrenals are so depleted that they need a little bit more. And it probably isn't something that you would have to do long-term, but with our world, you'd want to have, you know, I try to do 2 a day. If I'm really dragging, then I'll boost it up to 3, 4, 5 and do a couple more. This balances adrenals and it helps the body, protects your progesterone so that it doesn't tap into that. And that helps you not be so tired. And then the other thing too is just trying to go to bed and that first wave of being tired, which I'm going to just put it out there that I am absolutely the worst at this and shouldn't tell anybody to do it. Anita should do this part because she does it. But if you can do it, yep, she's on.
All right, what do you want me to teach him?
Just the importance of going to bed when you feel tired that first time and not letting your adrenals kick you up into another cycle, right?
Okay, so I will be in bed in less than an hour because I'm already sitting here thinking, oh, my body's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it. I can feel my body calming down. And I know, I know that's my preparation. I got to be heading for bed real soon.
All right. So that's another way to do it is to focus on going to bed that first time your adrenals are like, I'm tired. If you go to bed then, you don't refire them up and they're going to get to rest better. And so I'm going to be honest, I just feel like that's impossible for me. But I do find that after, 4 or 5 days of being up my normal times, getting up in the morning, I usually do just hit the wall and I make sure I go to bed that first time I feel tired. And I think your body just, the more you can do that, the more it recoups, the better you're going to handle everything that's thrown at you. So adrenals, super important. Leave it there. Super, super important. Okay. And then for your thyroid, it's not a life sentence if you have a thyroid problem, but your habits are really, really important in what you're doing to feed your body, the nutrition you're getting, your stress levels, and your water supply. And probably your water supply is just a huge one. So these are ones that are really supportive for the thyroid. The great part is it doesn't matter if you're hyperthyroid or hypothyroid, because what you're doing is you're feeding your thyroid with the oils that have the nutrients that your thyroid needs to function better. And I have had a lot of people tell me that this has made a big difference in their life with their thyroid. So you're going to combine these in a capsule: clove, myrrh, frankincense, and lemongrass, 10 drops of each, fill it up to the top, and go ahead and massage it into your thyroid 3 times per day. If you can massage it in, that helps more. And then just the amount of water that you drink is critically important also, just making sure you're really getting your water in there and supporting your body that way. And then Yarrow Palm, this is an honorable mention because that yarrow is really, really an emotional balancing type oil. And I did grab that. I think I've showed this before, but if you can see the little picture, it's just this really, really cool blue oil. Yeah. And what do you have? The serum there, Anita? So there's the oil, there's the body serum that they kind of made because everybody, if you haven't tried this oil, if there's somebody you can borrow it from and try, it's so great. Like for your face, it just is this smooth, anyway, it's amazing. But it will affect your emotions a little bit because it's an emotionally cleansing oil as well. And so for your mood and stuff, this is a good one to have to keep those emotions moving, just like all the toxins in our life. And then they loved it so much that they made it into a body serum. This is going to be great for hydrating your skin, helping with wrinkles, making your skin kind of more plump in a good way. That sounds like it could be bad, but it's not. It's good. Let's see. It has cold pressed pomegranate seed oil. This one has a few more essential oils in it. But this is a full body serum, plant extracts, and a luxurious silky serum for firmer, smoother looking skin and irresistible glow from head to toe. This one you don't want to put on your face because it does have a couple other oils like the sunflower oil, grapeseed oil. They're really healthy for you, but I find that, I don't know, sometimes I get more pimples if I use it on my face. This is one for your face, the little serum, and it's a little bit more expensive because it's the pure Yarrow Palm. And then they also came out with a beauty complex. And I just was listening to someone talk about taking this, like their kids taking this and it helping with their breakouts and stuff. So it just has a handful of things that are really good for your hormones as well. And so that's another one you can try for hormonal balance. And some of these, I mean, there are lots of options. So you don't necessarily have to dive into them all at once. Just pick a couple to try, use them for a few weeks. If you love them, keep them. If you don't know if you love them, you can try something else and keep it for, cycle it in and out to see how it does. I really love that oil on my face. It feels so amazing. And then the Beauty Complex, I'm trying to get my daughter to try it, but that one I've been kind of hit and miss with. But I've heard really great stories about it. And it has zinc and other good things that are super good for boosting your immune system as well. Melissa oil. And it has pomegranate, frankincense, turmeric. It's got a lot of really good ones in it. And the serving size in that is 2 capsules. So that's kind of the overall overview of our hormones. This is an example of a wellness box kit. We had talked before about when you order through your LRP, and I kind of showed you how to do that one time. I can show you again if you'd like, but what you're going to do is you're going to add the products you want. I just click on the little edit your LRP order when I'm ready to order. And I usually do it before my scheduled date, and then just put on there what you want. A lot of the kits come with bonuses where you can add other supplements at a high discount. So this is just an example. The Women's Health Kit together is $70. And then the Rose Touch is $70, and that's for the diluted one. The full straight one that comes from Bulgaria is like $250. But it's just an amazing oil, and it's very labor intensive with all the petals and stuff. Anyhow, so this is 125 PV, so you get the free oil of the month. This month it is a clementine oil, and that changes every month, but you want to put your order in by the 15th in order to get that. And that's kind of where you go earning points. It's the most efficient way to order your oils, the smartest way, because you get the biggest discount and then you get the best like rebate back on your oils where you have free products for the future and free points to use. And then when you ship it, you get shipping points as well when you order through your LRP program. So I have my Lifelong Vitality on there, and then I change whatever else I add on there to go with it each month. So that's the end of our hormones portion. So about men's hormones, one of the best things for men's and hormones is the phytoestrogen, even though it's like, seems like a woman one, because it really doesn't have to do with estrogen. It has to do with pulling out the xenoestrogens that are in the atmosphere, because those affect everybody in a negative way with their toxins. I would just do one a day for a little while and just see how it helps cleanse your body. And then for women, if you're premenopausal, they recommend taking one. And if you're postmenopausal, they recommend taking two. This is something I've added in more heavily lately also. And I just feel like it helps with all of those side effects. The hot flashes thing, you guys, I feel like you should never get to an age where you're old enough to experience some of this stuff, but you know, there it is. But I feel like hot flashes are just so obnoxious. So I would keep peppermint or past tense around so you can use those. But the phytoestrogen's what's going to be with helping with that, because a lot of that is just these random toxins that are in our air, in our food, in our products all over the place. So anything that can cleanse it out is going to help. Bumping up your minerals is going to help with your body being stronger, being able to sleep better at night with aches and pains. And we will speak more specifically next week about pain and inflammation and clearing that out. I think I'm going to combine those last 2 weeks. We're just going to talk about the Symphony of the Cells, which is a great way to detoxify, but also to target different issues you might be having with your body to cleanse. And then just the new wellness kits that they have, and like the proteins and supplements. So I think we're going to go through all those. And so we just have 2 more classes left, because we have 8 next week with the pain and inflammation. And then we'll have the wellness kits and the supplements, like the powder supplements they just came out with the week after. My biggest thing with sharing lately is, I mean, there's so much going on right now that people are sick with different things. Sometimes it's sleep, sometimes it's emotions, and just feeling down and out and depressed or alone. And so I just try to keep my eyes open for those people. But the reality is, it all comes back to this pattern of wellness that we have in our lives. I'm amazed how as I get older, I start seeing things differently, and I'm starting to resist a little bit more some of the junk in my life that I just love so much I don't want to give up. But the reality is, when you look at, you know, just how much is out there that is so unhealthy. I feel like for some reason we've all been addicted to sugar from trick-or-treating when we're 5, and it's just something that's so hard to clear out of our lives. But in the big picture, those things that are everywhere, whether they're the cleaning products or, you know, the cake for Mother's Day that's left in the fridge that I'm really excited about. Anyway, just kidding. There might be a cake. There might not. Okay. No matter what it is affecting our health, and our health is affecting our happiness. You know, it's affecting our sleep, it's affecting our relationships. And so just trying to help people see how a good baseline of supplemental products can change their life for the better. Because if you can clean out some of those toxins, I mean, you think even if you can't clean them all out, if you're up here surrounded by artificial cleaning stuff and facial stuff, and then plus all the junk food, and then, you know, not having any idea what's going on with your hormones and stuff, it just makes for a really difficult life. And then they turn into these bigger problems down the road. And everybody knows somebody that has, you know, these things pop up out of the blue where they're so shocked because they were diagnosed with something. But really, it's because we have this day after day after day of constant use of things that are really not made to go in our body. We've just learned to make everything faster and quicker and easier and more convenient, but a lot of the nutrients have gone by the wayside. And so just trying to look at everything you have and deciding, you know, what can you not give up that's probably not the healthiest thing, you know, and hang on to that. And that's okay. But then try to start switching out all those other things to balance that out, and then try to be putting in more good things. Yeah, Scott says, I think men can have the same amount of hormone problems as women have. And I totally agree, actually. I feel like all the synthetic stuff is definitely affecting our men, our women, it's affecting everybody. And different ways to every person, because every body is physically different. And so it's going to affect everybody different, whatever deficiencies you have and whatever you're overexposed to. You know, somebody gave my daughter like the plugins in the wall for Christmas with the oils, and I know they're very synthetic. I mean, they just would give me a headache, you know, and I'm kind of like not wanting to throw them away, but feeling bad because it was a present, I'm plugging them. But those are things that I'm not really around a lot. And so we don't use them a ton, but you might have somebody who's used those their whole lives. And so that's going to affect them in a different way and bring their systems down. So just kind of looking, and you can sit down with people and be like, well, what do you use? What do you clean with? What are you eating every day? And just think of how much you know about the nutrients that your body needs, the things that are affecting and disrupting your hormones and your endocrine system, and then how you can just kind of shift that day by day to be putting in better things and then just eliminating more of the junk that's around us. And it does take a lot of willpower, but so that's why you just start small and you just do one thing at a time. But I found that when I see people with problems with sleep, or I've had people have problems with fertility, where we've done things that have helped. I have this pregnancy diet that I've seen a ton of people that couldn't get pregnant on. If you know anybody, I can send it to you. But the reality is it's totally a cleansed diet. And I just think so many of the problems we have are from things that we don't realize are affecting us negatively because they're not natural and they're not made, they're not made for your body. So your body just doesn't function as well with them. So anyway, just that overlining message of, sharing the good things, trying to replace some of the less good things with better things, cleaner things, and then just using products to be cleansing and feeding the good parts of your body that have been starved for years because maybe we haven't realized, what we've been doing. And I'm totally on this journey too. I have locked all of my chocolate in a bin so I can't see it everywhere because when I see it, it's just bad. It's gone really fast. So I've put it all out of sight so I can try to just take a break. I'm not totally throwing it all out because I don't want the desperation to set in, but I just find I feel so much better when I throw some whole foods into my diet that are raw foods, raw fruits, raw vegetables. When I take those supplements and when I'm targeting those little things, my sleep alone has just made leaps and bounds over the past 6 months as I've been more consistent with some of that stuff. So it really does make a difference. Whatever issues you're having, target those issues, but then really make sure you're looking at your foundation. And if you can just say no to a couple things that really aren't great for you, hang on to the couple that you survive on and live for, but try to do a little bit less. And then just on a side note with habits and stuff, I was listening to some guy about habit books where he talked about if you can do anything to celebrate those wins, like if you ever cut something out that you really want, you can get jars and put a quarter in it every time and just watch it grow. So you feel like, hey, I resisted that. And here's the evidence of the times that I chose something healthier, and even if it's just that one win, it's still something that you can watch and work on and watch it grow and then share with people around you. It's amazing the heartache that's out there from stuff that's just affects our health. So anyhow, that's all I have for you tonight. If there's any questions before we're done, let's give you 10 seconds to type something. You type wait and then type your question. Now we're good. Thanks for coming. Have a good night. And we'll talk about, thank you. We'll talk about pain and inflammation next week. And then we're getting close to the end. So I appreciate you guys being here and it's just fun to have you with us. So thank you. Have a good night and we'll see you next week. Thanks.